I'm filming 2 videos in one day. I hope you appreciate the hard work. So this is gonna be my personal thoughts and feelings about the Toy Story 5 trailer, um, and fair warning, this is what I actually think. I don't. This is my actual opinions. I don't know how you're gonna feel about it. So trigger warning here. This is my actual thoughts and opinions on Toy Story 5 or the trailer in general. Uh, so a little fun fact about me for those who don't know. I love Toy Story. I grew up on the first movie. And don't get it twisted on when I'm saying this. I grew up on the first 2 Toy Story movies. I'm not that old, okay? I'm not like some like like early to late 30s year old man or a guy in his mid to late 30s. You know, don't get it twisted. I was born the same year Toy Story 2 came out. I was just actually a few months older, so yay. I, of course, had the first 2 movies on VHS, and for the ones who don't know what a VHS tape is, look it up. And I feel bad for this generation because they're always on their phones and... Anyway. So... I don't, okay, I want to say this. Say what you will, though. I like the concept idea of Toy Story 5, toys versus tech. I actually do like the idea. Having toys that we grew up with. Growing up, I've always, either outside or playing with my toys I had back in my day. I don't want to sound like a grandfather or a boomer, whatever. But back during my day, I always played with toys or playing outside. And I do like the concept idea, toys versus tech. I actually do like the idea. And again, don't get it twisted of like my don't get what my own personal thoughts and opinions on this movie twisted of me liking the concept of the idea. I do like the concept idea. It's pretty entertaining. It's pretty interesting because we never had this before. Because in the first 3 Toy Story movies, there was, you know, just toys, nothing but talking toys, out in an adventure. Same thing in the 4th one. But seeing how this generation, is always on technology, whether it's on the, on the phones, for example, or they're always on technology, and you see the your GI Joes or whatever, your toys or whatever, and in the corner of your room collecting dust. And stuff like that, man. I I just yeah, I like the idea. I like the concept, toys versus tech. But just the whole movie around it, I don't know. It feels kind of. If they actually, if they would have found a way to have that plot line into Toy Story 4, maybe people would have liked Toy Story 4, and then Toy Story 5 possibly would still happen with a different plot line in general. For example, Toy Story 4 would have been the toys versus tech movie, where Toy Story 5 would have... Did I say Toy Story 5 like 4 times? Either way, and Toy Story 5 would have been showing what Woody and Bo Peep have been doing, doing, since, since the last time we saw them in Toy Story 4. Maybe they would have kept... Okay, so maybe they should have kept 2 plot lines. You know, the toys going on a road trip with Bonnie, and then, you know, we have a side plot of, you know, like technology coming to life, whether that's like cell phones or laptops or tablets, what have you. You know, coming to life and face off against the toys and get kids and adults, you know, attention more than anything else. Then maybe Toy Story 4, maybe the ending of Toy Story 4 would have been not too bad. It would have been different. And then Woody would have still, maybe Woody would still would have gone with Bo Peep. I don't know. But in Toy Story 5, let's say, for example, like I said, Woody is still out with Bo Peep, you know, helping out lost toys. And then suddenly, you know, and then all of a sudden, Evil Emperor Zurg and Stinky Pete and Lotso, you know, alongside Al from Al's Toy Barn, they all team up together, and they see Woody and Bo Peep, and they just, like, go against them, and then Woody somehow finds a way to get, you know, to get help from Buzz and Jesse and Rex and all those guys. I don't know. That would be I don't know, that would have been an interesting thing to do. You know, seeing how Toy Story 5 or Toy Story 4 came out in 2019. You know, around that time when Toy Story 4 was coming out or was on the way, kids are always already on their phones already around that time, so. Excuse me. And, yeah. I know I'm rambling, I know, but either way, the toys versus technology, it's not a bad idea. I really like that concept. And it also shows, like, you know, it shows, you know, like the era of Toy Story, you know, because in the first from the first movie all the way up until the fourth one, it's, you know, toys, you know, it shows Andy playing with his toys and then eventually showing or giving his toys to Bonnie, to now Toy Story 5, it has Bonnie on the tablet, and this actually goes in what I'm saying. I really like the joke about, cause since Woody's an older toy, I like the joke which I actually can relate. I actually can. I like I like the joke when Woody has a bald spot, which I heard a lot of people saying that Woody had a bald spot in Toy Story 2, but it wasn't as severe or it wasn't as noticeable as it is in Toy Story 5 trailer. Which if you let me know if Woody did had a bald spot in Toy Story 2. Let me know in the comments. I probably misread and I probably misheard, but and let me address the elephant in the room real quick. Yes, I'm well aware that Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head have been recasted for new voice actors. I forgot the name, so insert their names here. I mean, judging by the trailer, the guy who now voices Mr. Potato Head kind of sounds like Don Rickles, you know, voicing Potato Head. In my personal opinion, just like when Jim Varney voiced Slinky Dog in the first two Toy Story movies, versus when Clark Blake voicing Slinky Dog. If you hear Jim Varney's Slinky Dog and you hear his friend Clark Blake's Slinky Dog, and you close your eyes and listen to both back to back, couldn't tell the difference, because at this point Slinky, just like Woody, is an older toy, and because Andy had both Woody and Slinky around the same time, so yeah, Slinky Dog, just like Woody's an older toy. So I mean, back to what I was saying, Woody having a bald spot, which I can't relate, because I did a video about this, like, I don't know, months ago to last year, to 2 years ago, I think it was. And oh my god, is it noticeable? For argument's sake, let's say Woody did had a bald spot in Toy Story 2. it was very noticeable here. um, and I liked a few jokes when Woody was like taking off his hat and his poncho. Oh, by the way, I like when Forky said, "What's with the?" And I may say this in the movie review. Um, if you saw the trailer, you know Forky was like, "Hey, what's up with the dress, Woody?" And then Woody was like, "It's not a dress, it's a poncho," which I like because it's kind of like since Woody's an older toy, it reminds me of Clint Eastwood. If you watch any of his, of Clint Eastwood's like Western movies, his character wears like a poncho or whatever. But it's fitting for Woody since he's a cowboy technically, so it's fitting. Um, and when he takes off his hat and he turns around, the bald spot shows and it's like all shiny and almost blinds the other toys. And Trixie was like, "Somebody better get a brown marker." I was like, damn. I mean, I know Woody's an older toy, but dang. And then eventually in the trailer, Woody meets Lily Pad and Woody was like, Lily Pad says something about, well, if it isn't the older toy, and then Woody was like, wait, what? And then Forky was like, she's calling you old because you're bald, Woody. And I was like, damn, Forky. I mean, I know it's been a while since you've seen him since the last movie up until this trailer, but still. Kind of messed up when you think. I mean, I can relate because I have a bald spot too, but yeah, since I have a bald spot too, but still, I can laugh at it because I have a bald spot and I can relate. But I never had anyone calling me old because of it, so far. That was actually. I'm sure they're gonna make plenty other jokes about Woody's bald spot. I'm sure. I don't know. And judging by the concept art, we're gonna have like a bunch of Buzz Lightyears. So maybe this is just a theory. Probably won't happen. I'm sure it probably won't happen. I'm just gonna. This is another theory, kind of related. Since there's gonna be a bunch of Buzz Lightyears, maybe, possibly, evil Emperor Zurg could possibly make a cameo, or possibly show up in the third act. I don't know. Maybe he shows up towards the end of the second act, and he's in the rest of the movie, just like how he was in Toy Story 2 when he was in the video game and he shows up again. I don't know. It's a possibility since we haven't seen Zurg since Toy Story 2. Well, since the Buzz Lightyear Star Command movie and cartoon show, technically, if you want to count that as canon, and also the Lightyear movie, if you want to count that as canon. Either way, we haven't seen Zurg since. Either way, so. And seeing how Woody is back with the gang, maybe Stinky Pete could possibly make a cameo. And I've also been hearing that Lotso from Toy Story 3 is coming back, so I don't know. Evil Emperor Zurg, I actually can see making a return, seeing how we have a bunch of Buzz Lightyears, roaming around the city, or the entire, state area or whatever. So, that I could possibly see. Zurg coming back, I can actually imagine him coming back, and then he eventually joins Lily Pad, and eventually Utility Belt Buzz Lightyear comes back eventually. Again, I doubt it. I don't know, but it does make sense. Again, multiple Buzz Lightyears coming back. Signaling Zurg coming back as well. I can see that though. I can see that. I don't know. It's a strong possibility that Zurg could come back. And honestly, we haven't seen him since Toy Story 2, or since, like I said, the Buzz Lightyear Star Command movie and cartoon we had at the time. And the Lightyear movie as well, if you want to count that as canon, so. I don't know. Let me know what you think about the Toy Story 5 trailer. Like I said, toys versus technology, that's a pretty awesome concept. I really do like that idea. I'm not being sarcastic either. Seems pretty fun. So, what do you guys just think of the Toy Story 5 trailer? Have you seen it? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you later.